kuwangaza era ngiro kubanga kukuma mukyalubanga lwa Mindi akasente katuuse e Kampala era bannakampala abamu nabali bajaganya abamu bakafunyeko ne bankubadde nange nina gwe nafunye journalist bize kibuzo nti gwe awoli wena gwomanyi omuntu wo ow'Oluganda mukwano gwo yafunye Kasimbi nze na mukwano gwa mukono nge yakafunye era nakalabyeko nga mutufa akasente yakafunye nabankubadde bangi bakyagamba nti akasente twakafunye nenga ebyo biri awo ebyo bijja bitamu nenga tugenda batunirwa leno omukuna Tamale ensonga ezanjawulo n'okuba nti mbadde ensaba Mzee Tamale twayogera ali ku Sunday ku nsonga y'okuba nti Tamale Junior yavudde mu NUP era nga kangende kamalirize era nga yabereddwa n'ensimbi okuba nti agenda okuba nti yejjanjaba
that's stupidity family yaffe
tanavaayo
tuli basajja bagagga mu family yaffe okujjanjaba nze baŋŋamba nti president agambye gende wanalwesa akuwe sente ogende ebweru to go to Nalweso to pick money. I just picked my money and went for abroad for treatment. That's the problem you have. You don't address the real issue. What's the contentious issue? The contentious issue is my son refused to use his international platform to announce the fake death of Museveni. This is where the issue is. Mubali balowooza ekyokubiri nze ndi ku muntu n'agenda mpuuga batula mu meeting bamuyitaani bamuyita Mbega nakimubuulirirawo ti Nyerere yakwata omwana wa Nyerere yewaggula ku kitaawe n'agenda mu opposition bamugamba nti eyo gundi strategy ya Nyerere ayagala yatufuza emyaka gino ate naawe oyiteeno yes namugamba nti your people will reject you. Kakati nze namugamba nze bwenkola pledge yange namugamba tojja kuva mu opposition because you will be killing your own political career. You have generated a lot of support and friends, but you are moving with wolves in Misegi. But my position now is taking him abroad for studies. I have not received anybody. In fact, some of my friends bayinza kubanga bafunye ka message balinga bano babataano ebintu byange biberamu abagagga bano babataano nze siweerezanga ko budget yambaka ku mukolo waffe nti ntudde nkola budget etekiriyo. I have my rich people benjogera nabo is me who is going for treatment banjo kyobutwa emirundi 5. The doctors had estimated tinja kumala emyaka 3 ngenda mwena
mu Tamale waliwo ensimbi ezawuliddwako ezaweereddwa Tamale Mirundi Junior nga okuva president tebasobola kumuwa sente nga nze simanyi. In fact, I have not written to the president. Bino bigambo
ati kati banoonya justification. You look at one thing nti ffe family yaffe, do you think nze frustration zenfuze n'okunjoga naki nti ffe tukyuka ffe family yaffe tekyuka. Kitange yaŋŋamba nti oweerezanga mukama wo ye n'akugoba omulindanga n'aggoba. That's the principle. Kakati mwe mulowooza nti bamuwadde sente. He is traveling abroad. That's the fact. Agenda bweru kusoma. Kubanga namuteekayo nze ntuula wansi ne mbabuulira nti gwe ogenze mu basajja abo mu Uganda temuli opposition. Fortunately for me yali agenze ne muto oyo omuwala ali ku university. Bobi Wine n'abanjula bano baana ba mukwano gwaffe kubanga the whole intention people power yabali mu government. Kati bo baali balowooza nono okubika Museveni mutani wange amubike nti am dragged in. Ebo baali batargetinga nze. You cannot manage me. I'm a strategist. Nze nkera kumacha kulowooza how many people mu Uganda abayina blackboards. Nze nzuuka essaawa mwenda tukiyita meditation. Nembala kijja kuggwera wano. I have not written to the president for money. Nobody has given this younger man money. Era bwabibuli has ne mama waseka n'okuseka. But that younger man has a good will. That's what I tell you. Nti mwe mugula ba Bobi Wine ne mugula baani mujja kufunayo omuyaya asinga Bobi Wine. So there is no money in this. Tebiri yebi. Naye yagaana ate yatambulidde. Nze abaana bange bonna nabagamba Don't inherit my friends and my enemies.
Okay.
I educated you to be scholars.
Bakole ebyabwe. Okay.
Yes.
Kale katandikira President Museveni yavuddeyo emabega kawo kino kwa tukyogera nnyo. Yena kadene enfuse embozi eri na Uganda nti nagamba agenda kuba nti singa yawuma naye alwana kuba nti agatoloka lu Africa East Africa ne local Africa.
Tujja kukisembyayo.
Jitwa tusembyayo.
Naye kamba bolize.
Nende katikale obajjo tusembyayo. Katandikine ne okuba nti President Museveni yavudde nalagirira era kyekimu okuba nti alagidde Ministry ya Health and Education okuba ngazina batandika okwanzikola emirimu ne UPDF. Okuba ndi mu nsonga negenda okubanga bazimba imekutandika ne financial yeno UPDF egenda kuba yekola emirimu ekyo. Kubanga agamba ayagala okubanga ajjawo bureaucracy ebaddewo okuisa contract nakola biki. Era nga UNRWA bitwogerera yamuza okusayininga MOU ne UPDF bagenda bakola enguudo z'enjawulo mu Siati Uganda. Ekyo kitegeeza ki?
President Museveni cannot have two. President Museveni must accept what's the cause of his problems. Cause ya problem ya Museveni eri wano nagiwandiikako nakugamba ti ekizibu kya Museveni kyayina yakkiriza ne bazimba a subterfuge in his government which is fighting now. With the veterans and historicals scattered and demolished, Museveni missed an opportunity to build a political party for Uganda, completely unique from the traditional ones, DP and UPC. Museveni instead maintained the old parties that he thought were politically harmless and posed no threat to him. This led to the emergence of the mafia gang. I pointed out in one of my books that following the 2001 elections, a group of arrogant youths emerged in government led by one of Museveni's in-laws. This was Museveni's biggest mistake. He allowed the emergence of a subterfuge in his government in 2001. The group that was led by one of Museveni's in-laws created a government within a government, a subterfuge. This group soon became the gateway to the state and established a mafia-style network within the government. With their influence and proximity to Museveni, they have successfully taken over the entire government. The way this group conducts itself is very alarming. They go by the principle, you are either with us or with them. They also believe that they can use Reverend Kanu Nakalima's office to get rid of people in government offices using corruption and replace them with their choice. They target leaders who are not in their camp to be defeated in all elections. However, this group will never succeed. There cannot be a situation where one group is allowed by the population to usurp their power, whether by force, coercion, or bribery. Furthermore, many members of the mafia group are not popular. The obvious spark of a national resistance, and it could lead to a revolution that will end up overthrowing Museveni. Therefore, maintaining their presence means that we, as Ugandans, have agreed to be humiliated by members of the mafia gang. This can work in the short term and cannot be a permanent solution. This is the group that Museveni is fighting.
When is the 1st January 2020?
Unless he deals with this subterfuge in his government. Let me tell you. Emmotoka enkadde buli wegiteekamu ekyuma ekipya nakyo kifiiramu. Yes. President Moi yaleeta kye bayita dream team. He assembled a team of intellectuals, experts to run his government. They failed. Why? The problem was not expertise. Museveni brought many educated people. Dr. Mwini from IMF used to be collapsed. He brought Dr. Sulaiman Chigundo. He almost, Bank of Uganda almost crumbled. He brought a man called Mboijana. Mboijana had his small airline. Uganda Airlines crumbled under the hands of Mboijana, and Mboijana committed. Miamu have been around and have written. So therefore, the issue is not to involve, in fact, when Museveni involves the military, the military genda kuononeka.
Ye argument jawa is because military bena wekozeko ebadde
let me tell you, I don't need lectures on this. When you go to Thailand, the military and the king are the owners of the economy. When you go to Pakistan, it's the military that owns the industries. That's why you cannot fanya fujo huko. Kakati wane chikuru ichiriwo. Let me give you an example. I've been defending nze nababuulira nagenda mu State House nemala emyaka 14 tukiyita mu political science tukiyita systems analysis nembategeera how do these people operate. One, whether you are intelligent or not, you must work under somebody. You must be hunting a dog. When money comes for a purpose, beba kamuserena ne batekawo obukampuni bwabwe gwe n'obakolera as a civil servant kozi sente bazitutte. Does it have a job? Which job are you talking about? Does it have a kakana kamotoka kamu? Kesa suliemu na amafuta kange nkaina kodi gondi kati nabatunulira nti bakweyambisa ate ne bajja basala amagezi nti kati sokotebereze nursery yali mu education for 7 years ne bamutwala mu judiciary. Bwe bategeera nti waliyo sente mu judiciary ozibba bamukwata ne bamugamba nti yabba 35 million 35 n'abalala aba basatu ne bayoola embwa atalina mwana atalina abakoledde nursery atakolera mwana we bamuyoola muliogonjo oyo ajja alifiira mu kkomera. Muliogonjo will die in prison. Bamukozesa nga ayigiki ne bamudwaginga mukola atikola Museveni writes a letter reinstate this woman ne bagaana. In normal circumstances, when you are put on leave or you are interdicted 6 months, you must be cleared. I was sent to wait.
Yes.
Nkubolia, we are talking about a serious issue. Nebakwata kivumbi mu judiciary muri mu sente. Nebamugamba nti yaguze a toilet seat ku million 7 etali nayo. Nebagoba embwa n'efuluma. Nebateekawo waabo. Kakati kivumbi amala okufa mbo bali babattirayo. Oyo ne bajjawo embwa yaabwe ne bagitwala. Buli we bagenda okubba ne bakwata kana akasajja ak'olusingo kasakwa kayimplementinga biragiro bya president ne kagala bbala y'abalieko ne bakayoola ku madda ne bakuba embwa mu kkomera kati bakayitayo kali mugundi kali muyiso ewange teeta you bring an appointment letter in my family I smash your head. Kati nze nabategeera nti bo buli ewali ssente balina ozijjawo olina kuba hunting dog oba ki. So unless Museveni defeats this group, Nayola subterfuge. That's why I always say, nti Museveni would do more by calling members of his family for a meeting. N'abategeeza nti musuula ekintu kyaffe.
Than okuwa UPDF.
Era baba UPDF era bajja kukolera wansi wa Kagina. Kuba ye Museveni agamba construction ya railway ewebe b'amagye kino kiwebe b'amagye bakole bokka
bawereddwa enguudo ezenjawulo era nga bakoze
anti nkubuulidde nga bali wa Kagina Museveni akkiriza nti Kagina alemeddwa. You cannot combine the two. Yes, kubanga bano yetabagoba batya which is good.
Tamale kyogeza kugamba nti obuzibu si kuba nti emibuzikanya okukola naye abali mu bifuba bakola
bo tebategeera ti they can overthrow their own government. I always ask, if a patient refuses to swallow peanut drugs, is he helping a doctor?
No.
Also saving his life.
He's saving his life.
A student, I always tell my children, nti mwemba tutte masomero amalungi. Not because munyambe.
No, by kweyamba.
A student must understand, are you helping to police the teachers or you are policing your parents? Kati government bweri government erina okumanya nti bwe tuba tuwa aba covid sente bano abanaku bobe muyamba oba mubatya kuyiika mu kibuga without money. Kati bamafiya ba Museveni kye balina okumanya, are we helping ourselves over by giving these people money to be comfortable in their homes bwe tutazibawa bayika mu luguudo nasanze ababodaboda ne baŋŋamba emirundi katukubuulire singa tukeera ku makya ffenna ne tuyika mu luguudo Museveni atukolaki
talina kyasobola kukola
singa tukeera ku makya ffenna ne tudifayinga what can he do atakuba amasasi ateeka mu kkomera kakati okuggyako nga bano ababbi be bakitegedde nti like a patient who swallows bitter drug temubba sente z'abasajja bano kuba bayika mu luguudo bona abakolaki
tebayi kyebasobola bakula
you can even dance nze omanyiye pulezidenti bano bali tebabiwulira mbadde mpuliriza kaboozi they were inciting people ekiri ecuba nti rights eziri ecuba givuddeko kitukoye tukoze bo tebabiwulira this is intended nayambako gavumenti eno abasajja bategeera twagala kusuula Museveni through riots ne bagenda Nigeria ne bafuna abazannya ebi Nigeria ne babifunako patent genda obuuza omusajja mumita jingo came to my office when I was still in State House naga nti ebi Nigeria babitututeko ne baleeta omukazi wano ne babisayini what was the intention? Do you know how many people attend ebibanda?
So many.
Omukimanyi nti ebibanda ebyo ebinigeria ebyo baali babyagalamu okubiteekamu amawanga agajjeko gavumenti through riots. I had to fight these people. But I always ask myself, does Museveni believe that I'm a mumbo? Abaganda bagamba nti nkwatira kutafuuka mumbo. Am I a mumbo?
Omukwatiddeko ekimala.
Am I in security? Nti bano abali obulisende bano balina okumanya ekireesedde eno gurupu ekulirwa mukoddomi we okujooga abantu yo teyina fiya nti gavumenti bwegwa bajja kudduka. Nabagamba nti omukazi bw'aba alina abaana be babiri nga be baliwo kitaabwe n'afa what happens? Omukazi bamuyita maama ku baana bano ani agenda okusika? Abaana bammwe because ali kusuwa ddiiro. The moment corruption graduates into akazu means that competition of power is reduced inside the first family. Tiono bwatakwata ono yakwata naye bwe baba bayinawo ate nze mbabuulira nti embwa ssatu kasazirwanira eggumba ebbiri ne zeesindika etalwanye yeritwala in Malawi and little known gundi muluzi yakuba bakomuzibanda bano balwana mama Kazamira namulemezaawo. So this issue of involving the army should not work with these discredited people.
Mzee Tamale bugamba amokola yokka tujebe kuba ngekola mu OWC operation with creation ngere ekola yokka gatayina gweri wansi naye operation with creation yeganye
yaweebwa guidelines. What does the army do? Army is used to calamities, highly trained. Kakati baki army kyebagikolamu nti NADS tebagiteekamu ba change agents. 2 ne bafragmenting resources. Mu State House mulimu poverty alleviation. Neno neva, why don't you muscle your resources together? 2 ne Kabushenga n'ateekawo omulimi asinga n'ababba ku ba foreigners. There would be a law that all of funds intended to improve agriculture must be channeled to one center. If you ask me, Mirundi media consultants, to plan for NADS I can, who changes society? The soldiers can deliver, but do they have the knowledge of changing society? That's one. Nkubuulira negamba nti problemu ya Uganda eva ku kintu ebi bibiri, profiting in calamities and failure in absence of an opposition group. Nti bano bakimanyi nti baana ba munju kitaabwe ne bwafa era be basika. Yes, kyobala bati bafaayo kati kankubuuli. Yesterday I was watching these people. Bayina omusajja namaze omufunako details akolamu simanyi wood paper something. Bamuyise mu meeting yaabwe ku Serena ne bamusuubiza emiliyoni 12,000. If you can trace a technician who is running my machines. Ne bafuna ekifaananyi ne bakifuna ne bagamba nti omusajja ono abeera buziga nga oli ababuulira. Bafunye essimu ne bamukubira they offered the man to trace my technician 200 million.
Yeah.
Nga bali willing okuwa oyo technician to sabotage my machines 10 billion. Mwenda contributed 3 billion. Another one contributed 7 billion. To sabotage. Kubate bo balowooza nti nze ndi mulabe waabwe. Ate nze abagamba nti bino temubikola. Bo bagamba kati waste 10 billion. Kati Museveni yampa mmeka. Yefa kan
era tekubanga ofunamu kubanga ebbanga lyomazenga omwogera ate kati waki okyasigala omwogerera.
This is my country.
Mwoyo gwa ggwanga.
Whether you give me, what does Museveni give me? You tell me. If I have a job, mention my salary. Kati nze nkugamba sinza obutabo bwange bwonna bwempandise buliriyo kati ako kategedde
katulagenda katawo bwebweni yavudde n'abeera nga ensonga eno yagikubyemu ebituli wuliriza kubanga gavumenti yonna president buli omu agenda ateekawo military ayagala kufuula tufuula military government buli sector agenda gimilitarizinga.
Let me ask you a simple question. Did you expect a witch doctor to contribute to construction of a hospital?
If it is helping the society.
In fact, when Bobi Wine opposes something, I cry.
He's not opposing. Yawadde magezi era nga gemazima kubanga olabanga sector zonna zonna esinga military egenda ezitwala OWC mututte baminisita tuba muze Tamale Mirundi zaako tulina minister ya internal affairs yagenze w'amagye General Katumba Wamala ali mu ministry namba buli sector yonna egenda eyingiramu magye.
Kyenkubulya kiri kimu. Where do you find a general being attacked by civilians who is a minister?
In Uganda
eno gurupu y'abamafia yeyina okusooka okuba.
So militarizing the sectors egenda kuba solving
amagye gonna ge gakola ebintu byonna letimitteriyo. Ne bwogenda mu America retired generals tebalinga bammwe. Retired generals are in industries. Former defense secretaries are industries.
But here in Uganda bali government running a million offices.
Chikola naye nga Museveni amaze kuba eno gange led by his in-law. Yateeka mu subterfuge ayagala okufuga eggwanga. Kakati ate bo ne bakiriducinga mu family nti on arrivalinga n'ono. Kakati Museveni enakumala kuba gange eno eno ya subterfuge n'agijja mu government. Then the military will work. Naye bw'abanga military agizimbidde ku subterfuge ne military bajja gikuba.
So
if they can attack a general.
Kyogeza okulaga nti UPDF yakoze ne UNRWA tegenda kubanga ekola.
Tesoboka kubanga Kagina era bajja kuddya amakampuni babasonsekemu. Remove Kagina.
But UPDF ina kundi yayo.
Ya dying in Ruwero Kagina was in Makerere.
UPDF ina kumashuringi yayo yayimiridde National Enterprise Corporation. Anabajingizamu atya companies
ndala. Ndikubolidde nze nkugambe. Military yekola. You see, it depends on the level of the military. For you, if we analyze Idi Amin delivered. Abajasi bakola. You go to Nigeria, the generals, the way Nigeria developed is not the way Uganda developed. Because of the level of education of the generals. Yeah. At one time, in America, they would ask you, where were you during the Second World War? General Alexander Haig. These were tough people. Most of American presidents had a stint in the war. But andikide ku Jimmy Carter ensokuterera kyaki hiro. So military ekola even in Kenya where they feared the military. Military is they have transformed it from peacekeeping to combat. Military ekola. Naye Museveni wanazimbira military ku subterfuge eri mu government ye ey'abasuma. Abasuma bano abalira okukinduka ono nabba radio za Museveni omulaba yagenda nazo. Ministry of Education ekulembera first lady namubabbamu abalira okukinduka abanyampise swaga manya abanyankole baga nti anyampise ekiniga na mpale atabacha bano bali omukyere si banyankole bakalu ayine nakuba abantu enkyana akomawo nga RDC. So these are the contradictions. The military will deliver. But they don't allow the military should not allow itself to operate within the failed. They should analyze. Tikakati Afghanistan tojira we are fighting Afghanistan tewangulwanga ko lutalo. Abafagani bali united. America had to go. Biden yakoze statement. We cannot use the methods of the ODRs to solve current problems. The America is no longer interested in occupation, territorial occupation, they have technology. Kakati military ya Uganda, bwenakkiriza okuzimbirwa kuba Kagina, it will fail. Museveni must dismantle the Kaginas, must dismantle the mafia gang to give way to the military. Kakati kankubuuza. Why does Museveni talk about Diana, not the ministers? Because Diana is the permanent secretary.
Yes.
Kakati gwe banakukkiriza okubeera permanent secretary, gwe w'amagye, permanent secretary ya designing, what will you do?
What will you do?
Kyova olaba nze nabasalira amagezi ne nga nti system yabwe njizudde. To perform better shouldn't be part of this government.
Mzee Tamale, wenjambika biga byogedde olaga nti systems zenfu. Pasipoti the systems. Systems zino okufa ziva kuki?
Anti nkubuulidde.
Ani systems eggwanga kuba tezikola bulungi.
Nawandika akatabo kano kalaba. 2012. 2012 ne mbagamba bakayita invisible hand. Omukono guno okulaba.
The invisible hand.
Nali mbabuulira Mbabazi nti ali mu gavumenti agezanyiramu. At that time Mbabazi nga tayogerwako. Amwerisikiteeka. Era obutabu bwange bwonna nkugamba for the future
will exonerate me.
Nabagamba nti it is a known political science principle that a setback is good and the success after success is bad. When you suffer a setback, you go back and ponder over the problem, leading it to a solution. However, success after success creates confidence and one takes many important things for granted. In politics, an institution must operate like a living thing, like a country. Country is a living thing. It must assimilate, adapt, and discard. Religious institutions know this very well. However, for any religious institution to survive, the changes should not erode or undermine the core values. Otherwise, it turns into something else. If a woman applies cosmetics to the extent that her husband does not recognize her, then the cosmetics have not achieved their objectives. The role of cosmetics would be to provide more beauty, but at the same time retain the original features of the woman. Setbacks help to awaken up people. They are like warning bells in a car or barking dogs. If one responds in time, the damage done is little. However, if the organization rejects or ignores the warning bells, then the enemy eats it up. Even where their treatment, like COVID, even where their treatment for a particular disease, early detection is very important for its treatment. Like human beings, political organizations, countries are attacked by their enemies on a daily basis. It's the level of early detection of an organization that saves it from its enemies. The institution should create an early warning mechanism as well as a quick response, one in order to survive. Political institutions, countries suffer from what we call political inertia. They develop weaknesses. They are like human beings who have to observe a high level of hygiene to avoid falling sick. Furthermore, political institutions are like human beings who must ensure self-preservation. Once a human being succumbs to death, it ends its cycle. If a political institution or a country loses political preservation, it dies like a human being whose defense systems succumbs to disease. Finally, and more important, political organizations and countries must have detective systems to check the internal enemies and external ones. Intrigue is a very important weapon that internal or external enemies use to sabotage or destroy political organizations.
Okay.
2012 nti bino byonna bimulaba ebya COVID ebyaki byonna tumina early warning systems. COVID has proved nti is not only a disease, is a problem of it exposes the
health sector
political
and the political, yeah.
It exposes, you see, abaganda baga nti omunyamusubi. Why is Kenya performing better than us? Their
systems are working.
They have an election next year.
Systems are zikola bulungi.
COVID we had this country information. Ekyokubiri kye kino kye nakugamba.